Hello, worlds. Welcome to Civilly Savage, where our goal is to help wake people up, as I believe that most people are but a mere shadow of who they could be. Before we get started, be forewarned that I tend to speak very bluntly and have a tendency to use lots of colorful adjectives, so be careful of your surroundings when you watch or listen. My goal is not to offend, but to empower. But as no one likes the person with the mirror, I'm also very okay with people not liking what I say. So, without further ado, it's time to start trimming the wool and pulling up whatever grown up pants you happen to associate with. It's time to get civilly savage. I've noticed, like, when I watched his stuff, I kid you not, like, I was watching him. Like, I've never found him before. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I guess it's kind of one of those, like I said, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right? Because he's been out for a while. And as much stuff as I listen to, I love Impact Theory, and I never saw him on Impact Theory. Never come across him in any other setting, and then all of a sudden, just the other day, like boom, there he is, right? And as the very first one I was listening to, and I was listening to it out there in the living room with my wife, and I shit you not, I stopped his talk like 3 times and just kind of laughed to myself. I'm like, I know this is, I say this shit all the time. Like, why why am I not applying what I am talking about all the time, right? Yeah. So anyway, yes. And again, like, I appreciate that. It's I take that as a huge compliment, because I was like, man, this dude's really on point. So if you're like, hey, it's like talking to you, I'm like, yeah, that's a huge thing. Thank you. But that's sometimes when it's most impactful. Like, again, like, I don't know. Uh, I think I've told you about it before. There was a lady. It was early. I was running my group, and I was up there at the whiteboard, and I was writing down some of the stuff that we were going to be talking about that day and some information to cover that day. And she comes running in, right? Like, she pushes the door open. She comes running in and is like making a beeline for me. And I'm like, I was kind of taken aback. I'm like, what's up with this? What's up with this lady? And she comes running up and she throws her arms around me and gives me this big hug. She's like, Chad, I've had the best week of my life, probably, and it was all due to you, all because of what you said last week, and blah 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 blah. And I was very happy for her, and I didn't tell her this out loud, but like, I'd been talking about that same topic for like 2 months. I just kept reframing it, right? Like, I would use different metaphors, I would use just different examples, I would put it in different life settings, be like, this means this in relationships, this means this in work, this means this in whatever, right? Like, and it was um all the same thing. But finally, like, after 2 months of hearing it in different ways, one of them finally clicked, or hearing it for the 12th time, it finally clicked. So yeah, sometimes when we hear, to include, like I said, like myself, right? Like, I've said this stuff, I've told these things to other people, and then hearing someone else say it again in a business setting, I was like, why am I not doing this shit? Like, okay, well, it's time to quit talking about it and quit planning about it and quit learning it and actually go do it, right? Like, that was the thing. So I'm calling this civilly savage because I want to try to get away from mental health, because no one gives a shit about mental health. They really don't. It's so sad.
Really?
Yes, it's really like, even people, right? Like, um men and women will spend hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars, to get better at basically anything, to lose weight, to look sexier, but they won't address the depression that is causing the weight gain. Like, if you're not sleeping well, you're not going to build muscle as well. You're not going to lose as much weight. If you're stressed, you're not going to build muscle as well. You're not going to lose weight. If you're depressed, you're not going to be sleeping as well, and you're going to have poorer food choices and all this good jazz, right? Which is going to make it harder to lose weight, and you're probably going to be gaining weight. Now, I could, based on my education and based on you know, my field, I could be like, okay, so we need to address your depression. We need to address your anxiety. We need to address you know, the mental health side of this, and it will help you lose weight. No one wants to spend any money on that. But I can talk about the exact same thing, be like, okay, so now to lose extra weight to do is move better, eat better, sleep better, relax better, right? Framing it to lose weight instead of framing it to get rid of your depression. And people are like, oh yeah, I'll do that. Like, because it's with their, you know, their waistline, which is something that we have been programmed to care about. No one gives a shit about, oh, well, you're just depressed. Be like, okay, we'll take some antidepressants and go the fuck on. And in addiction itself, right? Like my 12 Steps 2.0 book, like I point out in it, I've been championing trying to change how we treat addiction since before I went to school. And then I get into school thinking that, oh, I'm gonna make all these changes, and I come to find out that everybody already knows this shit. I didn't ever have any issues finding research for the papers that I was writing about how fucked up our programs are. There was never a, oh, well, I couldn't find any research on this. I mean, I had some papers that had 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 different citations. No one cares. Everybody knows. No one cares. Like, this shit's been around for 30 years. No one gives a shit. It was the second one I sent you. Like, I've sent that one to my brother saying, if you want to know what I do, watch this guy. Like, he does exactly what I do. But he has a much better marketing scheme. Because, like, this, I'm listening to it and I'm like, this is me. Like this is belief systems psychology, and yeah, and he's making millions. Like, I need a much better marketing strategy here.
Wow.
So yeah, I guess, you know, because for me this is like, I've tried to explain it to my brother. I'm like, I just do this, right? Like, this isn't this isn't a hack. This isn't following some psychological model, right? Like, this isn't just CBT, or it's not DBT or REBT or IFSP or like whatever, right? Like, it's not a model that I'm modeling, and it's not a specific thing. It's just my stuff. So for me, it's like, this isn't that amazing. This is just what I fucking do. Right? Like, it wasn't until one of the courses that I was taking that I'm like, oh, I use existential therapy in my talks. Like, I had no idea how to do existential therapy. It's just what I did. So in my own psyche, in my own beliefs, this isn't anything special. This is just me being me. Which is amazing on the fact that it actually works. But like, on my scale of things, I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't consider myself on the level of like Peter Crone or Tony Robbins or anything like that. But then on the other side of that, I hear their talks and I hear what they're talking about, and I'm like, I talk about the same shit. like, so yeah, you know, if the shoe fits, maybe I need to be up there and out there as well. So here we are.